Hello, gals, pals, and cinephiles. I'm Ozzie Gonzalez, and today we're going to be taking a look at some of the best movies to watch around Halloween. Halloween is a special time of the year for anyone of any age. It's a time when kids go trick-or-treating and adults dress up in costumes for Halloween parties. Another thing that goes on during Halloween is Halloween movies. Many films have graced the scene in both horror films and general Halloween films. So today we'll be going through 10 of the best movies to watch around Halloween. So grab your fall sweaters and pumpkin spice lattes. Let's get into the list. Let's start with the first film that kids will enjoy, but adults who also grew up watching Disney Channel will enjoy. It's the film Halloween Town. I'm not wearing the sweater throughout the whole thing. Halloween Town is a 90s Disney Channel original movie about a young girl named Marnie, along with her sister Sophie and brother Dylan, who travel to a town where their grandmother Maggie is a witch from a faraway land called Halloween Town. It's a town filled with magic, mystery, and any creature you can think of. Skeletons, werewolves, vampires, ghosts, and so much more. When an evil warlock has plans on taking over Halloween Town, it's up to Marnie, Sophie, and Dylan to save the town. I personally watch Halloween Town almost every year when it gets closer to the holiday. Not only do I watch this film every year, but Halloween Town has a grip on every 90s and 2000s kid. A lot of people still have the nostalgia of being a kid and watching Halloween Town on Disney Channel. But nostalgia aside, what makes Halloween Town a good Halloween movie? Well, that's simple. It's the atmosphere of the film. The costume design, the music, the characters, the set design, the magic, everything just screams Halloween, even with some of the jokes falling flat and the additional corniness that comes with almost every Disney Channel movie. The awkward moments, weird acting, and badly aged special effects and the cheesy moments really date the film. But those cheesy moments bring back that sense of wonder that we often had as kids. Beyond its magical elements, Halloween Town carries a heartfelt message of unity and acceptance. In a town inhabited by supernatural beings, Halloween Town teaches us that differences should be celebrated rather than feared. Halloween Town is a film that, no matter how old you are, brings back the feeling of Halloween as a kid. So if you get the urge to watch something that makes you nostalgic for the old times, hop on to the next bus to Halloween Town, and I'm sure you don't want to miss it. On to the second film. Since talking about Halloween Town, how about we keep the lighthearted atmosphere and move to another Disney film that also has witches? You will get a film that also has its grip on Halloween, Hocus Pocus. After moving all the way from California to Salem, Massachusetts, a teenager named Max Dennison explores an abandoned house with his sister Danny and Max's crush, Allison. Allison tells the story of 3 witches who lives in that house. Max dismisses it as superstition and lights a black flame candle. This frees the witches known as the Sanderson sisters, consisting of Mary, Sarah, and Winifred Sanderson. With the sisters free in our world, it's up to our protagonist to keep the witch's book away till sunrise, along with the help of a talking black cat named Thackeray Binks. Hocus Pocus is another cult classic that has its death grip on Halloween. You can't go one day in October without someone mentioning Hocus Pocus. Hocus Pocus has become so popular that people who grew up watching this are introducing the film to their kids, and the popularity of this film eventually led to a sequel that we don't talk about. But the standout performances of this film doesn't come from Danny, Allison, or even Max. It's the Sanderson sisters that steal the show. The Sanderson sisters are as goofy as can be and can be seen as scary at some points. The Sanderson sisters are such a staple on Halloween that people still dress up as them to this day. Plus, the number of 90s stereotypes makes this film both dated and timeless. The new kid who just moved to town, the kid's sibling, the crush, the goofy villains, the dismissive parents, the animal sidekick, and the non-threatening bullies make Hocus Pocus a film of the time that leaves people wanting more. Side note, Disney shouldn't be talking about virgins this much.
Spirits of the dead when lit by a virgin on Halloween night.
A virgin lit the candle.
I knew some airhead virgin might light that candle.
Brave little virgin who lit the candle.
And he's a virgin. My brother's a virgin.
I had to wait 300 years for a virgin to light a candle.
Are you a virgin?
Why was this a thing in a kids movie? But other than the virgin thing, Hocus Pocus is something special for the kids and parents. With Hocus Pocus celebrating its 30th anniversary, it's proven that it's a staple of not only the holiday, but pop culture. Hocus Pocus is a film that continues to cast its spell generation after generation. Hocus Pocus leaves us with a sense of nostalgia and a reminder of the magic and wonder that only Halloween can bring. With its memorable characters, atmospheric setting, and timeless themes, it has earned its place as a beloved Halloween classic. So as the black flame candle flickers in our hearts, and the Sanderson sisters' cackle echoes in our memories, Hocus Pocus leaves us with a sense of nostalgia and an enduring appreciation for Halloween. It's a testament to the enduring magic of the film and the timeless nature of Halloween, and it will continue to enchant audiences for years to come. On to the third film. After talking about Hocus Pocus, let's transition into something slightly darker with a whimsical Tim Burton twist. It would give us the film Nightmare Before Christmas. The film follows Jack Skellington, the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town, who has become tired of the same routine of scaring humans every year. Jack's life takes an unexpected turn when he stumbles upon a mysterious forest filled with doors to other holiday worlds. Curiosity getting the better of him, Jack opens one of the doors and finds himself in a place of wonder known as Christmas Town. Overwhelmed by the beauty and magic of Christmas, Jack becomes consumed by the idea of bringing this holiday to the denizens of Halloween Town. Little does he know that his well-intentioned actions will lead to chaos and misadventures. Nightmare Before Christmas is also another staple of Halloween. The most memorable parts are the breathtaking sets, the extraordinary stop-motion work, the characters that leap from the screen, and most importantly, the songs. Again, there are copyright reasons why I can't play these songs, so let's talk about them. Nightmare Before Christmas has memorable songs such as Kidnap Sandy Claus, Oogie Boogie Song, and the most memorable one of them all, This Is Halloween. This Is Halloween is synonymous with not only the film, but the Halloween season itself. Just a few notes of the song and it's guaranteed to get stuck in your head. As of this video, Nightmare Before Christmas is also celebrating its 30th anniversary. To have a film as big as this and still being celebrated for up to 30 years means that this is a film that's doing something right. Nightmare Before Christmas is more than just a film. It's a tradition. Its captivating visuals, iconic characters, thematic depth, memorable music, and timely message make it a perfect fit for the spooky season. Whether you're watching it for the 100th time or introducing it to a new generation, Nightmare Before Christmas continues to cast its enchanting spell over Halloween. So as the leaves turn and the pumpkins appear, remember to visit this classic to kick off your Halloween festivities with a delightful touch of darkness. On to the fourth film. Since we talked about Nightmare Before Christmas, let's stick with the supernatural theme with another animated film, but this one features mystery-solving kids and a talking dog. This time it's not a man in a mask, it's Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. After hearing about some ghostly activities on a mysterious haunted island in the Louisiana bayou, it's up to Fred, Daphne, Velma, Shaggy, and Scooby-Doo to solve the mystery surrounding the island. Unlike Mystery Inc.'s usual encounters with the supernatural, this time it involves real monsters such as zombies, ghosts, and other supernatural creatures. Scooby-Doo Zombie Island is often considered one of the best films of the franchise, with a sophisticated plotline that not only applies to kids, the color schemes of the scenes, and real genuine danger and fright that will have you remembering this film for a while. Scooby-Doo Zombie Island was so popular with fans and the general public that a sequel was made, which immediately got bashed. But we aren't talking about the sequel, we're talking about the original. What makes the original so good is the Scooby-Doo gang. We already have an idea of what the gang is going to do. Shaggy and Scooby are going to be hungry cowards. Velma's going to try to be the only person with logic. Daphne's going to try to investigate and probably be kidnapped. And Fred is going to be Fred. Although the film uses Scooby-Doo characters, the film would still work if it weren't a Scooby-Doo property. The film uses these characters to the best of their ability to make something that is not only sticking to the franchise, but making something of its own for newcomers. But what makes Scooby-Doo Zombie Island so good is the atmosphere and design of the film. Look at this scene in the beginning of the film. It's breathtaking with dark, mysterious life that some people would not believe would come from a Scooby-Doo film. The same thing can be said for the bayou. It gives the perfect spooky atmosphere along with the swamps and dense forests, giving the feeling of a classic monster movie. Scooby-Doo Zombie Island is something for new and old fans that will have you remembering this film during Halloween. So whether you're reliving your childhood memories or embarking on a new spooky journey, don't miss the chance to let the bayou and its mysteries envelop you in this unforgettable animated masterpiece. On to the fifth film. After talking about Scooby-Doo Zombie Island, how about a family-friendly, action-packed film that features some of the most iconic horror movie monsters of all time? You will get the underrated 80s cult classic, Monster Squad. A group of kids with a love for monster movies find themselves against the universal monsters, the Gill Man, the Wolf Man, the Mummy, Frankenstein's monster, and the big bad of the film, Dracula. The kids must prevent the creatures of old from taking over and acquiring an amulet that could plunge the world into darkness. Monster Squad is the most 80s-est movie you will ever watch. The best way to describe this film is if a Halloween version of Goonies mixed with Hocus Pocus. The film even has the stereotypical boys acting the way boys do in every 80s movie. You have the no-personality leader, the cool-looking rebel, and the fat kid who is literally called Fat Kid.
Fat kid, get him, map.
Fat kid? What other kind of light is there? Oh, fat kid. Fat kid farted.
Fat kid, fat kid, fat kid.
But with every good, there's always bad. And this film is slowly tipping towards bad. Monster Squad is really slow to the climax, the uncomfortable moments of homophobia and blackmail, and a lot of inconsistencies when it comes to the monsters. Like there just so happens to be a week-long full moon for the Wolfman, and Dracula's a crazy, power-hungry madman, even though he's one of the most sophisticated of the creatures. There's also a lot of cheesy and uncomfortable moments.
Wolfman's got nards.
Noni virgin.
Mommy came in my house.
We didn't need to know that one. But I think that's what makes the film special. It's a cult classic for a reason. There's something of value that makes Monster Squad memorable in both good and bad. At its core, Monster Squad explores timeless themes of good versus evil, the power of friendship, and the idea that even the most unlikely people can be heroes. These themes resonate with audiences of all ages and make this movie an ideal choice for family viewing during the Halloween season. Is it the best movie? No. Is it a lot of fun? Yes. Monster Squad is a Halloween classic that offers a perfect blend of nostalgia and a celebration of classic monsters. So this Halloween season, gather your own squad, get some snacks, and prepare to be transported into a world where monsters roam and kids can become heroes. On to the sixth film. After talking about Monster Squad, let's transition into the horror genre with a meta horror that deconstructs the horror tropes itself. It's a film I watch every year, Cabin in the Woods. Tell me if you heard this before. A group of college students consisting of the stereotypes of the jock, the harlot, the scholar, the comic relief, and the innocent take a trip to a remote cabin in the woods for partying, drinking, and occasional sexcapades. Then an evil entity is released onto the students to fight for their lives and survive till the end of the night. This sounds like every other slasher film, but Cabin in the Woods takes this premise and flips it onto its head. In reality, the students are being monitored, drugged, and influenced by an underground lab for a sacrifice. Cabin in the Woods is a unique, self-aware take on the horror genre, offering both a love letter to classic tropes and a deconstruction of the genre itself. Cabin in the Woods uses the tropes that we know as viewers and gives funny and clever explanations for why horror movie characters act the way they do. One of my favorite examples of this is when Kurt, the jock character, says to stick together only for seconds later to say split up.
We gotta play it safe. No matter what happens, we have to stay together. This isn't right. We should split up. We can cover more ground that way.
Yeah, good idea.
Really?
Tell me that is not both funny and clever. Cabin in the Woods also has a wide array of monsters that could be linked back to any horror movie you can think of. Werewolves, zombies, clowns, spirits, and so much more. Plus, the majority of the monsters are practical costumes with very little special effects. I cannot stress how much I love this film. It's the one film that got me to dive deeper into horror movies. From the smart concept, the memorable characters, the practical effects of the monsters, and so much more that leave you wanting more. You can watch Cabin in the Woods multiple times and still find something new that you didn't see the last time. I have too many good things to say about Cabin in the Woods, so if you want me to do a whole video just for this movie alone, leave a comment. Cabin in the Woods is not just your average horror movie. It's a mind-bending, genre-defying gem that leaves you with more than just a few jump scares. With its blend of horror elements, subversion of tropes, and thought-provoking meta-commentary, make it the perfect choice for Halloween. Explore this horror experience, unlock its mysteries, and let it redefine what you thought you knew about the genre. In a world filled with predictability, Cabin in the Woods reminds us to stay spooked and always expect the unpredictable. On to the seventh film. After talking about Cabin in the Woods, let's get deeper into the horror genre with an anthology film that weaves together Halloween-themed stories. You will get a film that has you celebrate the season or die trying. Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat is an anthology film that intertwines 4 stories on Halloween night set in a small town where traditions and urban legends come to life. The 4 stories are about a group of girls trying to party, a school principal with a sinister double life, a group of kids keeping a Halloween tradition alive, and an old man who learns the true meaning of Halloween, with a masked kid tying all the stories together named Sam. Trick or Treat is definitely a film that knows how to celebrate the spookiest time of the year. Normally, an anthology film takes people out of the story, but Trick or Treat is one of the best examples of a good anthology film. You're not asking yourself, when is this part going to be over? That's mainly because Trick or Treat is so well written and well paced that there isn't one story that falls flat. Trick or Treat is what I believe to be the definition of a modern day classic. The cinematography, the color grading, and the general feeling of Trick or Treat make it the perfect film for the holiday. Trick or Treat also brought another icon of the holiday, Sam, a kid in a potato sack mask with orange footsie pajamas. Sam is supposed to be the physical embodiment of the Halloween spirit. Sam makes sure that the rules of Halloween aren't broken and are upheld. Those rules being, wear a costume, pass out candy, don't blow out a jack-o'-lantern before midnight, and always check your candy. Sam looking like a kid is also smart because Halloween is often said to be for kids. It's not often that the kid is the tying point of the story as well as the killer. Plus, the other characters do well in their stories. Without going into spoilers, these characters are very good for what they represent. Each character is from a different perspective of what people do on Halloween. Kids go trick-or-treating, preteens do what they want, young adults go out and party, grown-ups pass out candy, and the elders stay in. Trick or Treat has something for every generation, so give it a watch and see what you think. Just remember, when Halloween comes around, be sure to follow the rules or face the wrath of Sam. On to the 8th film. After talking about Trick or Treat, let's continue the horror theme with the slasher that started it all. It's the grandfather of the slasher genre, Halloween. In the calm suburbs of 1978's Haddonfield, Illinois, a silent, deranged killer named Michael Myers escapes from an institution on Halloween night, ready to kill. Michael begins stalking a local group of teenagers, including our protagonist, Laurie Strode. As Halloween night unfolds, Laurie must confront the evil that is Michael Myers, who is driven by an insatiable urge to kill. Halloween is often considered to be the film that started and/or revolutionized the slasher genre. Its simple cinematography, storytelling, and setting of a suburban neighborhood make the film even scarier because it's a place where people wouldn't expect a killer to be. It's honestly a very tame film with the consideration of horror movies nowadays, but this film had a massive impact. And all that success goes to Michael Myers, who then became the blueprint of the slasher genre. I mean that not only in pop culture, but in the film industry. After Halloween, 2 films came out that were inspired by the film. These films just so happen to be Scream and Friday the 13th. This shows that the impact of Halloween is much bigger than one would think. The Halloween franchise has also gotten bigger since its debut. Since the first movie was released, there have been 13 sequels, with the majority of them not well received by critics or fans. Starting to see a pattern when it comes to Halloween movie sequels. Other than that, Halloween is a timeless masterpiece of horror history. Halloween is a film that continues to enthrall and terrify audiences to this day. The chilling legacy of Halloween serves as a reminder that every Halloween night, the presence of Michael Myers looms larger in the collective imagination, ensuring that the thrill and terror of the holiday still looms for generations to come. On to the penultimate film. After talking about Halloween, let's shift into supernatural horror with a film that focuses on a group of kids dealing with an evil entity. It's the film that made red balloons scary, It. Set in the small town of 1980s Derry, Maine, the film follows a group of young kids consisting of Bill, Richie, Eddie, Stan, Ben, Beverly, and Mike. These kids are formerly known as the Losers Club. The Losers Club is terrorized by a shape-shifting, malevolent entity that often takes form of a sinister clown named Pennywise. As the children of Derry start to mysteriously disappear, the Losers Club confronts their deepest fears while banding together to face the ancient evil that haunts Derry every 27 years. Throughout the remainder of the segment, I'll be calling the film It Chapter 1, so there won't be a who's on first situation. It Chapter 1 was a film that took the world by storm. The likable characters, the writing of one of the best horror authors to date, Stephen King, and one of the biggest impacts was the film's theme on the dangers of growing up. There are moments with these characters that almost anyone can relate to and find similarities with any member of the Losers Club. Those relatable moments bring you closer to these characters and make you want to see these kids survive. Though it's not considered a Halloween film, it is considered one of the best remakes of a horror movie. It Chapter 1 is actually a remake of the original 1990 miniseries, where the story was set in the 1950s and Pennywise was played by Tim Curry. But again, we aren't talking about the original, we're talking about the remake that had people wanting more after the credits rolled. The main thing that people wanted more of was the kids. The kids are honestly the best part of the movie. Not only do these characters act like real kids, talking about stupid stuff, doing idiotic things, and doing stuff together makes the group have great chemistry that doesn't feel forced. But a horror movie isn't as good without a villain, so here comes our antagonist, Pennywise the Dancing Clown. Pennywise is a good villain who can be creepy to the point of being borderline uncomfortable. He's played by a good actor, Bill Skarsgård. His body movements make you believe that he's something that could do some serious damage, and the way he talks is something that seems otherworldly.
Well, I'm Pennywise the Dancing
dancing clown. Yes, meet Georgie. Georgie, meet Pennywise. Now we aren't strangers, are we?
But Pennywise lacks any sort of character besides being creepy and scary. Nothing else. He's just scary. You would think that someone who chose to be a clown would try to be at least a little funny. But other than that, It Chapter 1 serves as a chilling reminder that childhood fears, whether they manifest as a shape-shifting demon or as more realistic challenges, are an important and crucial part of growing up. With the nostalgic charm of the 1980s and a group of lovable misfits fighting an unspeakable evil, It Chapter 1 cements itself as more than just a horror film. It's a story about the power of friendship and the courage in the face of darkness. Now the final film. After talking about It, let's end on a lighter note with a film that has you laughing in a zombie apocalypse. It's the first part of the Cornetto trilogy, Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead follows the life of Shaun, an aimless, lovable slacker living in London. When a zombie apocalypse arises, it's up to Shaun and his best friend Ed, who must gather the courage to rescue Shaun's ex-girlfriend Liz, and her best friends Diane and David, and Shaun's mother, Barbara. Shaun's goal is to get him and his group to his local pub named the Winchester, to wait until things blow over. But when things start to get tense, Shaun is forced to confront his shortcomings and take charge. Shaun of the Dead is a film that knows how to perfectly blend horror with comedy. One minute you're scared for the characters and hope that everything turns out okay. Then the next you're laughing at a joke that makes you forget it's a zombie movie. I personally love Shaun of the Dead. I may have a personal bias because the director, Edgar Wright, is the reason I got into film in the first place. Attention to detail in both the background and in the writing make this film something you have to watch multiple times to get everything you didn't catch the first time. Plus the editing and camera movements in Shaun of the Dead bring energy into boring everyday things that feel like an action sequence with quick cuts. Shaun of the Dead also knows its audience because there's a lot of callbacks to old horror movies, such as this one from Night of the Living Dead.
We're coming to get you, Barbara!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Not only are there the normal zombies that we associate with everything, but Shaun of the Dead uses zombies as a metaphor for societal apathy and monotony. This could all be tied back to Shaun and the way he acts. Shaun was a lazy couch potato who hardly did anything except the bare minimum with his life. He was a so-so son, an okay best friend, and a not-so-good boyfriend in his life. When Shaun has to face these creatures, he sees how dangerous it is to be caught in the same everyday cycle, and decides to do something about it in both surviving the zombies and surviving everyday life. Not only can Shaun of the Dead make you laugh, it can also make you think. Again, not seen as a Halloween movie, but it's a good zombie film no matter the time of the year. So when you're thinking of a film to watch this Halloween season, be sure to give Shaun of the Dead a try. Just hop over to the Winchester for a couple of shots you'll never forget. And that's the end of my list. There were a lot of other films that I want to include, but I either didn't have time for them or would have been a little too crowded. So here are the honorable mentions. Scream. A comedy slasher with the dreaded Ghostface killer that makes any phone call deadly. A 90s slasher that shows horror movies can have a funny side. Not considered a Halloween movie, but it's a good horror movie for a good time. The Goosebumps movie. The famous book series spawned a movie with a lot of horror characters coming to life and seeking revenge on the author and townspeople. The classic Goosebumps series being a staple to both TV and books make it a fun film for the family. Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Another Scooby-Doo film I wanted to include is about the gang visiting Salem, Massachusetts, and a witch's curse returning to haunt the townspeople. I thought it would be weird to include two Scooby-Doo movies, but this film is often paired with Zombie Island, so if you want a double feature, go right ahead. It's an enjoyable film for the whole family. It Chapter 2. The sequel to It Chapter 1, which has the losers returning to Derry 27 years later to finish Pennywise off for good. Again, not a horror film, but it makes for a good double feature. It Chapter 2 did not do well with critics and fans, but I personally like this one, so give it a try and see what you think. We're now at the end of the list. Hope all of you have a happy Halloween, whether you're going trick-or-treating, hanging out with friends, going to a party, or staying home watching movies and passing out candy. May this Halloween be one to remember. Was there a movie I didn't include in the list that you want me to talk about? Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree with my list? If so, leave a comment saying otherwise. Thank you for checking out the video. See you next time.